So I decided to go to Revenant's Toll before we get started with the Heavansword. So there's a brass blade dude guarding the way in here. And I was like, oh, what happens if I talk to this guy? And he goes, you! Easy now, friend. I'll not raise the alarm. I'm not fool enough to believe the rumors. That said, I cannot well let you pass. Orders are orders. So, he's not going to tell anyone about me, but, can't let me in. And I was like, oh, Slaffborn. I wonder if Slaffborn says anything. You're safe, thank the gods. I heard about what took place in Alda, of the terrible things they say you did. Well, it goes without saying that I don't believe a word of it. I promise to do all I can to track down your fellow scions. Knowing that you managed to escape unscathed, I am hopeful of the others' survival. I was like, oh, people are actually saying stuff. That's neat. And so, I remember talking to these two guys over here, Sark Malark and Galamont, where they'd helped us with getting the robot and stuff. Let's talk to Galamont. Thank Relger you're safe. I was watching when they stormed the Rising Stones. The way your comrades were being manhandled, you would have thought they were criminals of the worst order. That ain't no way to treat the heroes who saved the realm. What in hell's is going on? And then Sark Malark says, I'm glad to see you're safe, adventurer. None quite knew what happened when they sealed off the Rising Stones, but 'twas plain that something was amiss. I'm not privy to the particulars, and perhaps it's for the best that I remain ignorant. Whatever trouble's afoot, I pray for its swift resolution and your continued preservation. And then I see this Crystal Brave guy here, one of the guys in the blue coats. I was like, oh, let's see what this dipshit's got to say. You have some nerve showing your face here, traitor. I ought to haul you in for your crimes, and I would, except you doubtless put up a fight, and I've been ordered not to bring conflict in town. Our priority is to protect people, and we can't risk innocent bystanders getting hurt. If I were to find you anywhere else, though, you'll not find me so lenient. Consider yourself warned. Yeah, okay, dude. I'm so scared. Okay, so again, this is not Heavansword. My friend told me to do a side quest. So it's called Primal Awakening. Let's see what this is about. I'm at the Waking Sands. I'm gonna go talk to Alisaie. When the Cineri moon did wane, there sounded a blood-curdling roar. A new primal has roused. The portents gave us to believe... The portents gave us to believe. One whose identity yet lieth beyond our ken. Okay. By thy hand, 3 primals have since been vanquished. As each returned to the ether, 'twas observed that the tremors foreshadowing this fourth grew in strength and frequency both. The being doth quicken, and in time it shall become a scourge upon the land. Yet even as we pondered a course of action, a benevolent soul did arise, one who would forestall this threat. Though she be tender in years, she is true of heart and steadfast of resolve. She would solicit thine aid, if thou art willing to proffer it. Lest thou wonder, this maiden is of our order. Thus did the antecedent straightway consent that thou should assist her however thou mayest. Damn, Ariange. As soon as thou art able, hie thee to Wineport, where thy petitioner doth await thee even now. Thou shalt for a certainty find her visage strikingly familiar. Damn, Ariange, the way you talk. Let's teleport to Wineport. Oh, hey. It's that... How do you pronounce her name? Alisaie? It's Alphinaud's sister. However the hell you pronounce her name. Let's talk to her. Alisaie. It has been a while, adventurer. As I recall, my brother Alphinaud took the liberty of introducing us when we first and last we met. But for the sake of propriety, Alisaie Levelier, I thank you for coming. I have heard much and more of your exploits. By your hand, the Black Wolf is slain, and his ultima weapon destroyed. You are possessed of great strength and courage, that much is plain. I shall have need of one such as you, if I am to see my mission through to its conclusion. As you may be aware, the violence of Dalamud's fall changed not only the face of the realm, but also the base of the realm. Specifically, it played havoc with the etheric currents, creating vast confluences of ether below the surface. Among other phenomena, this led to the formation of subterranean caverns at key points of stress. Gee, thanks. One such cavern lies beneath Castrum Occidens, and extends to only the gods know where. Despite appearances, Castrum Occidens is as much a research facility as it is a fortress. Gaius von Belzar chose the site for no other reason than to probe the caverns without interference. As you went about vanquishing the returned primals, I observed a repeating wave pattern in the ether, corresponding exactly to the dates on which you were reported to have felt Ifrit, Titan, and Garuda. Upon closer examination, it became clear that these unique waveforms emanated from deep beneath the aforementioned stronghold. Crucially, I recorded the same pattern during the recent celebrations, and have since been given to understand that this phenomenon bears a disquieting similarity to one observed shortly prior to the calamity. Uh-oh. 5 years ago, my grandfather invoked the power of the 12 that he might contain Bahamut. Is your dad Louis Sois? Or grandfather? Alas, his efforts failed and he vanquished together with his foe. Sounds like her grandfather was Louis Sois. I would know the truth of what transpired that day, of grandfather's fate, and of the metamorphosis that swept across the land. In casting light upon these mysteries, we will find a way to cure what ails this world. It is my belief that the answers I seek lie hid within the depths of the cavern. I would have you accompany me on an expedition to find them, Suicune. Put my hand on my hip and I seem to consider it. If truth be told, I am not wont to rely on others. Yeah, I could actually tell that from how you acted earlier. And have thus far handled matters alone. Yet I am not blind to my limitations. Unescorted, I cannot hope to succeed in this endeavor. I swore that I would find a way to restore peace in Eorzea. If you desire the self-same, then aid me, as you aided my brother and the Scions. I nod, and then she nods. I am in your debt. You are a woman of action, and I sense that we will accomplish much together. We'll see how competent you are, because that kind of hinges on it. But let us not waste any more time. As I mentioned, Castrum Occidens straddles the cavern I wish to explore. If I am to have a hope of reaching it alive, I will need you to infiltrate the stronghold first and locate a path into the depths. Once you have done so, pray report your success to Storm Private Jabroka. My first thing was a jabroni that came to mind. Storm Private Jabroni. Storm Private Jabroka. You may consider her my assistant here in Wineport. I have every faith that you will not fail me. 12 speed your way, Suicune. Yeah, my friend sent something like, this quest line with Alisaie, or whatever her name is basically like what was happening while we were getting betrayed and all that shit. So this is like between ARR and where we are now with, before starting Heavansword. So this is what happened during that time. She salutes me. I've been expecting you, Suicune. By your coming, I take it you have successfully located the cavern entrance inside Castrum Occidens? So that's where it's to be found. Marvelous. Oh, but allow me to properly introduce myself. Jabroka is my name, and it is my honor to serve Lady Alisaie. Though for reasons of convenience, at present I also serve the Maelstrom. This uniform accords me certain privileges, you see. In particular, ready access to the Maelstrom's regional scouting reports. They provide a wealth of local knowledge, including information on secret passages. But enough about me. I shall notify Lady Alisaie of your discovery, that she may prepare for the expedition. Though I don't doubt your abilities, none can say what dangers lurk beneath Castrum Occidens. For my lady's sake as well as your own, please spare neither preparation nor caution. Pray choose your companions well. The Binding Coil of Bahamut. Let's see what happens. So I see lots and lots of orange crystal. Almost like we're in a... Oh yeah, we're in a cave. Okay. In a cave of orange crystal. With some metal platform so they can dig out the inside of it. Imperial Exploratory Site 237... Yalms? No, I don't think that's at Yalms. So some of the coils are cake, some are not. Okay. Maybe he's level 83, I'm assuming they're all going to be cake. But I guess it depends. Here's a little cutscene. Alisaie. These scars left by the calamity. Looking at a giant, just wall of orange crystal. I can scarce breathe for the surfeit of ether. Tell me, have you ever seen corrupted crystals such as these? Such crystals manifest across the realm when the course of the great river of ether was irrevocably altered 5 years ago. Behold one of the objects that caused this, that alteration. A fragment of the lesser moon, Dalamud. So, it's part of that, what I said looks like a giant sword that went inside the moon, or I guess meteor. Apparently that's actually part of meteor, even though it kind of just looks like a giant like mechanical sword or slab of some kind. But apparently that's part of meteor. Ancient Aulog created Dalamag, or meteor, to use the Garlean name, to serve as a celestial prison for Bahamut. Its fall inflicted grievous wounds upon the land, wounds that have yet to heal, as is evident from the corrupted crystals. She looks surprised when she sees a floating orb with red lights on it. Probably some kind of security. Amazing! Dalamud's internal defenses still function in spite of everything. A testament to the ingenuity of the Allians. The Garleans seek to appropriate their advanced technology. I'm certain of it. Oh yeah, absolutely. We are about to come face to face with the secrets that have long laid buried within the sands of time. Great dangers may lie beyond, but we have come too far to turn back. The truth of the calamity is within reach. Alright, yeah, we're in a giant cave of crystal. And we're about to go fight, I guess, this defense sphere. Meteor Fissure is what this area is called. Yeah, my friend wanted us to do this one, just the two of us, because he said not many people run these. And it would probably just be easier. Because he's level 83. As long as we're not synced, we can just overpower level this place. I guess our fight knocked down some of the plates, because now we have a passage forward. Yeah, it's like bits of what I would have described as like bits of the sword. You have another cutscene. We open up and we walk into like a giant opening of the interior. Alisaie. Gods preserve. Dark wings that would engulf the very heavens. Oh, is that what that's supposed to be? Oh yeah, I guess it would be. Are they Bahamut's wings? These could only belong to Bahamut, the primal who laid Eorzea to waste 5 years ago. At Cartano, my grandfather sought to imprison Bahamut anew by invoking the power of the 12. So I think she's marveling over how large the wing is. I think we're only seeing one wing, but it basically looks like it's being held up and connected by tendrils of the orange crystal. Like it's growing over it or something. But yeah, they are massive. Or this one wing that we're seeing is massive. Alas, the Dreadworm proved too powerful, and he soon broke free of the confines. Yet instead of resuming the destruction he had begun, Bahamut vanished. Whither to, no one knew, until this day. She thinks. But I do not understand. If Bahamut is truly a primal, how is it that he retains his physical form? Did Grandfather defeat him? Or is there some other explanation? I mean, he's surrounded by fucking corrupted crystals. He's, I guess, keeping his form that way? We must press on if we are to learn the truth. Oh, there's someone behind us watching. Alisaie heard something behind us and she looks up where the guy was. Or person. And they're not there, of course. So someone's following us, but we don't know who. Meteor looks a lot more mechanical than I thought. Alisaie is here. He says, "This is going rather more smoothly than I expected. It is indeed convenient to have a hero on hand." It is, yes. Gods, that the cavern should open up again, even at this depth. Yeah, we've gone pretty deep. Like, we're way down there. We went from... because I'm going to delete it because it's really boring. We basically went from looking like a beehive to there being some, like, ramps, and we just beat up a bunch of enemies, and then we just had literally a single room of enemies that we just beat up. And then we went on an elevator, beat up those enemies, and now we're here. It's been a very uneventful 5 duties I had to do. Yeah, and now we are in, like, a massive cavern that's very mechanical, but apparently all this mechanical stuff is actually meteor. So meteor is a lot more mechanical than I ever envisioned meteor to be. I thought it was a literal, meteor, but apparently it's all, like, mechanical and magical and shit. And even though we're in this big cavern, underneath our feet, or, we're basically right next to a giant opening, even larger opening in here. Ha! This resembles a finger. What does? I don't see a finger. Oh, that does, yeah. And so it should. This is Bahamut's hand. Oh, snap. Oh, yeah, one of those is like a claw? Yeah, those are claws. Damn, Bahamut was fucking big. We're like a skin cell on this thing. As with the wings, it seems to be frozen, and for that I count my blessings. But again, I find myself wondering, how is it able to retain physical form? I had assumed that Bahamut's reversion to ether was the cause of the widespread changes to the realm. But if he is still here, then that theory no longer holds. What was it, then, that brought about the realm's sudden regeneration? There is still so much we do not know about Cartano. I haven't the slightest inkling how deep these caverns run, but we must continue. Yeah, if that's just Bahamut's hand. I mean, he'd be able to crush us with a single fingernail. Like I've got little... wrinkles and things on your hand and stuff. We basically fit into one of those. It says, we are near the core, but you would know if we were at the core. Oh, okay. My friend goes, "Ready for a dragon?" I'm like, sure. Let's see. Which dragon? Oh, just normal dragons. Why are they all the way down here, though? This one's got some kind of metal collar around its neck. That's weird. Oh, I thought I was leaving. Now I'm on the main bridge? Where am I? It's all red and dark and spooky in here. I thought I was done. Alright, well, let's click on the terminal. Activate the lift? Sure, why not? I don't even know where my friend is. Alisaie, thanks. This contraption, is it used to control the saturation of ether? I suppose there's only one way to find out. Go touch the buttons. She's touching it, and some kind of light appeared. The dragon you vanquished earlier. Doubtless you noticed the peculiar contraption about its neck. Yeah, I did, actually. It was likely a receptor of some description, used to enslave the creature. I figured it was something like that. Like we had those miner guys that had the helmet that enslaved them. I figured it was something like that. Ancient Alug possessed the means to control dragons, it would seem. The Ishgardians would kill for this knowledge, though to be sure, it could as easily be brought to bear against them. An army of dragons can turn the tide of any battle, as the Garleans once learned to their sorrow. I would not be the least bit surprised if they now sought to exploit this power. Whatever their plans, this serves as another reminder of their might of the Alligans. Of the might of the Alligans. One cannot help but wonder how so advanced a civilization came to fall. Yeah, we kind of learned about that with the Crystal Tower quest. Oh, it's lighting up now. I think we woke it up. Whatever it is that we touched. It's awake now. The floor is shifting. Transforming. Now there's basically a gate barring our barring our path. Gods be good! So basically, part of the wall started separating, and underneath where it was is like purple electrical light. Yeah, I have no idea what the hell's going on. Are we in another elevator? Oh, is that Bahamut's head? This is Bahamut's head! Yeah, there it is. Yeah, that's his head. And basically, Bahamut, at least what we see is 1, 2, 3, like pillars streaming some kind of blue light at Bahamut. And it's got some kind of, I don't know if it's metal, but it's like on the left side of his face, like all the way up from basically his cheek to the top of his horn on the left side of his head. And I think maybe at the top of his head too. But yeah, it's got some blue light design in there too. But is that his decapitated head though? It looks decapitated to me. Yeah, there's like his heart? Question mark? And that enormous crystal. It pulses as if it were a heart. Then the primal that had awakened was Bahamut all this time? No. No, no, no. This cannot be true. This would mean that grandfather died for naught. Confound it. We do not know enough to strike at it now. We must withdraw. So, I guess what we're... Who? Who is that? No, it can't be. Who do you see? Because I haven't seen him. Oh yeah, it's the person we saw earlier. Grandfather? Is it truly you? All we've seen is the back of their head. Oh, it does look like Alisaie, doesn't it? He says something. And then gives a little smile. And then walks slowly towards Bahamut. Or I guess Bahamut's head. Alisaie. No, don't leave me again, please! Grandfather! I know. We can do no more for now. Yeah, but what did he do? He didn't even do anything. He just kind of slowly walked forward. And that's it. We didn't see him, like, jump off into the abyss or get absorbed or anything like that. Can we go over there? Oh, no, that area is blocked off to us. We can't go there. Well, shit. So he's here. But we can't get to him. And I guess he wants to be here? Like, it's been 5 years. There's no way he's here without food or water. That's gotta be like his spirit or some shit. So that's the real Bahamut? Like the actual flesh Bahamut? I gotta cut to. Looks like we're climbing out of the cave. Alisaie. But this looks like some of the metal thing sticking out. How do we come to be in northern Thanalon of all places? Oh, but such details matter little. Grandfather's alive, Suicune. Bahamut did not defeat him. She puts her hand on her hip, but then looks thoughtful. But why won't he return to us? I don't understand. This expedition has yielded more questions than it did answers. A lot of them, yeah. At any rate, we would both be better for a rest. Let us return to the waking sands and reflect upon what we have seen. Thank you, Suicune. Without you, none of this would have been possible. She gives me a little smile. Honestly, I expected her to be a lot bitchier. Because she seemed so, basically, bitchy whenever she was talking to Alphinaud. She was perfectly pleasant. Okay, so we're back at the Waking Sands. Let's talk to Alisaie. I am pleased to see you again, Suicune. I have already shared the fruits of our expedition with Alisaie. Let us together ponder their implications. Then, if I switch to Alisaie, he's got another quest called Alisaie's Pledge. Alisaie. Full glad am I for thy safe return. Lady Alisaie hath appraised me of thy many experiences. As thou wilt doubtless be aware, Master Louisoix was my lady's grandsire. Gravely concerned was I for her safety, but 'twould seem I need not have been so. With all my heart, I do thank thee for watching over her. But come, thou must speak with Mistress Alisaie upon that which transpired within the binding coil. May it serve to bring us closer to the truth of the calamity. Alisaie. Shall we begin then? Alisaie, I understand you have a request of your own to share with us. Oriange nods. Aye, my lady. Even as thou didst emerge from the depths, an etheric disturbance betokening primal activity was observed. In Mordona, it was marked first. By comparison of time and magnitude, we have since deduced its origin, the Cardinal Flats. Alisaie. Strange. There have been no reports of primal activity in that region. It could only have been Bahamut. That would certainly explain how we came to be in northern Thanalon. Somehow the cavern took us all the way from Vilbrand to the heart of Eldenard. Oriange. 'Twould seem so, my lady. Alisaie. It is all but certain, then. After Bahamut disappeared 5 years ago, he hid himself deep beneath Cardinal, and has since lain dormant regenerating. Oriange. Aye, my lady. Taken together with thine own account of Bahamut's continued presence, the land's slowness to heal, and the disorder of the etheric currents do point to one conclusion. Bahamut stirreth. If left unchecked, the primal shall drink of Eorzea's life force, till he doth waken to rain ruin upon the land. Well, that's probably not good. Alisaie. Rest assured, I do not mean to give up, Suicune. Bahamut may still live, but so too does Grandfather. For the past 5 years, he has been keeping vigil over his nemesis, making certain that the primal does not escape. Oriange shakes his head. Master Louisoix doth yet live? I durst not hope. And thou art certain 'twas no mere manifestation of thine all too sorely felt grief? Alisaie. I know how desperate this may sound, Oriange, but I saw him with my own 2 eyes, as did Suicune. She looks to me and nods. But he vanished deep into the labyrinth before we had the chance to speak. Yeah, he said something, but we were well out of earshot, so we didn't know what it was. 2 more, like fragments of Dalamud, pierced the earth when the lesser moon fell. One we have seen. If we can but find the other 2, I am certain that we will find Grandfather as well. Oriange. If thou so believest, my lady, then I too shall have faith. If it pleases you, I shall notify the Grand Companies of this development. All Eorzea must stand united if we are to avert a repeat of the calamity. Alisaie shakes her head. That will not be necessary, Oriange. Being the great conciliator that he is, Alphinaud will seek to unite Eorzea of his own accord. If rumors are true, that endeavor is already well underway. So let us leave the diplomacy to the diplomat, while we continue our investigation of Bahamut. I swear to you, no matter what it takes, we will find my grandfather and uncover the whole truth of the calamity. Oriange nods. Suicune, you have heard me swear to do these things, but without your strength I cannot hope to make good on my word. The danger to Eorzea is not past. For the sake of all who abide here, I pray that you will ever be our sword in the darkness. I nod, stoically. And Alisaie, whatever, nods as well. The truth is down there. Achievement unlocked. Let's do another turn in the coil. Oriange. A crystal-choked abyss lieth beneath the Cardinal Flats, the unholy cradle of an elder primal, and by thy hand were truths great and terrible wrested from those once celestial depths. Yet, as is oft the case, an answer doth breed a profusion of questions, and the unknown doth beckon with irresistible allure. Never have the mysteries of the Red Moon lay so neatly within our grasp. Lady Alisaie hath sent word of her coming. 'Tis time once more to brave the precipice and leap, unflinching, into the jagged wound that doth gape beneath the land. Awesome. Alisaie. Mine apologies. I trust I have not kept you waiting over long. She approaches us. Seikun, I am both delighted and reassured to have you at my side once more. I would not waste your time with trivialities. Let us proceed directly to the discussion of that which we have learned, and that which we hope to learn anon. Initially, it was evidence of a new primal that led us to delve into the cavern beneath Castrum Occidens, and to explore the subterranean scars left after the fall of Dalamud, or otherwise known as Meteor. As you will recall, what we found was a vast, largely intact fragment of the fallen satellite, and within the depths of that structure, we discovered not the new primal we had expected, but the broken form of Bahamut himself. She shakes her head. Yet even this great revelation would soon be overshadowed by the appearance of mine own dear grandfather. Oriange. I have since shared our sundry findings with Rambrose, preeminent scholar of the Sons of St. Conac, and he, in turn, did kindly furnish me with his theory concerning the Elder Primal's elegant prison. 'Twould seem that Dalamud was constructed to gather unto itself the rays of the sun, and thence channel this radiant bounty unto the Crystal Tower. Yeah, we kind of learned about that with the Crystal Tower quest. They mentioned that they had made something to put into the sky so that they could channel the power of the sun into the tower. The ancients saw great potential in Bahamut's capacity to manipulate energies of otherwise unimaginable magnitude. 'Twas for this reason that they did bind him within the Red Moon to serve as its living core. Oh, that was never going to end well. Alisaie. Do you remember the sight that greeted us at the culmination of our journey? The colossal device that surrounded and seemed to cradle the incomplete form of the Elder Primal? From the information provided to us by the Sons of St. Conac, we have learned that these contraptions were termed internment hulks, and that each bore the designation Ragnarok class. The purpose of these hulks is believed to be twofold. First, they are meant to act as binding coils, rendering Bahamut incapable of escape. And second, they are meant to feed him. Perversely, the selfsame energy which prevents him from moving also serves to sustain his corporal manifestation. Bahamut is permitted neither to die nor to truly live. He merely is allowed to be. That sucks. Oriange. For century upon century, was the Elder Primal thus imprisoned, bound about its fetters so subtle in their working, and yet so adamant that, though his cell be destroyed, Bahamut lieth yet at the mercy of his long-departed captors. That sucks even worse. Alisaie nods. Alisaie, it has long been held that the primals require the prayers of their faithful followers to exist, yet none alive worship Bahamut. Could it be, then, that the Elegants found a way to simulate prayer itself? Holy shit. It seems the only logical explanation. I would postulate, therefore, that the regenerative mechanisms in question also supply something akin to the power of prayer. Damn. Consequently, if all of the internment hulks were to be rendered inactive, Bahamut should dissolve into the ether. So I guess that's why I guess it's not Bahamut in flesh and blood. It's still a primal, just being held in a kind of state of neutrality. Oriage, upon the evidence of thy previous foray, we determined that the elder primal is sustained by 3 such binding coils. Thus did we commence to scour the realm, and found in the Twelveswood an as yet unexplored fragment of the lesser moon bearing a most familiar etheric signature. Alisaie nods. Alisaie, and after conducting a preliminary investigation, we believe we have discovered a point from which this North Shroud fragment and the second of the internment hulks can be entered. As Eorzea's sword in the darkness, I would have you once more lead the charge. I will, of course, be there at your side. Once you have made your preparations, head to Fulgord Float, and make yourself known to my assistant, Serpent Lieutenant Anael. The fallen fragment is not far from the settlement, and her position provides a convenient rendezvous point. She thinks for a moment. I will break these elegant fetters, for they bind my grandfather as surely as they bind Bahamut. Or you're gonna kill your grandfather. Alright, let's talk to this serpent lady. Anael. Suicune Astroma? I have been expecting you. My name is Anael. I have been accorded the rank of lieutenant within the Order of the Twin Adder, that I may better assist Lady Alisaie with her endeavors here in the Twelveswood. Such authority has allowed me to act without interference from the local soldiery, and to conduct a preliminary investigation of the Alder Springs fragment. From what we have seen of the exterior, the structure shares many common features with one you explored in La Nocia, and likely plays host to a similar complement of guardians. But I fear words alone would do little to prepare you for what lies ahead. Pray seek out my comrade to the south and west. He is charged with observing all that occurs in the vicinity of the fragment, and will be well placed to show you the thing, if nothing less. Let's speak to this sharp-eyed serpent private. What business brings you to this broken land? Unless you fancy being ground to a bloody pulp under the granite fists of a wandering golem, I suggest you bugger, like, hey, I'm, Suicune. I'm kind of famous. He gives me his people's salute. Oh, my apologies, madam. Lady Alisaie did send word of your impending arrival, but 'twould seem I've grown rather too accustomed to shooing away curious sellswords and reckless explorers. Behold, if you will, one of the fallen shards of the Red Moon Dalamud. Our initial survey uncovered no evidence of the Empire's presence, which, while fortunate in itself, meant that the approach to the fragment had yet to be cleared. I don't really... I see where there's, like, a blue light. I guess it's kind of mechanical looking. After much effort, however, we succeeded in carving out a semblance of a path, which should grant you access to the entrance. And that, I'm afraid, is where our progress ended. The interior? Well, assuming that the architects of this hulk resembles the first, the master controls you seek will be located on the bottommost layer, past all the ingenious and deadly defenses of which the ancient Alligans seemed so indecently fond. They were pretty fond of, deadly contraptions, yeah. If you would know more, I'm afraid there is nothing for it but to brave the depths of the fragment yourself. Lady Alisaie will soon be arriving at Fulgord. Pray do not tarry on your way back to the lieutenant's post. I imagine our young mistress will be most eager to commence the expedition. He gives me his salute again. The road ahead promises peril aplenty, and I would humbly suggest that it is not the occasion to stint on preparation or provisions. May the 12 watch over you. He's kind of like, yep, she did. She totally did. Alright, let's teleport back so I can go talk to NAL. Mistress Astroma, I trust the private's explanation was worth the journey. I mean, it was pretty decent. Simply securing an approach to the fragment's entrance proved a monumental task. I dare not think what defeating its inner defenses will entail. If there is aught I might do to aid you. Alisaie walks over to us. NAL. Ah, Lady Alice. Oh, my apologies, Master Alphinaud. Has there been a change of plan? Is it Alphinaud? Oh, it is Alphinaud. Alphinaud. Urianger informed me of the impending expedition. I merely came to exchange a few words with my fellow scion before she disappeared into the depths of the second coil. He looks to me. Suicune. Though I would strenuously deny it were she present, my sister's admiration and affection for our grandsire exceeds even mine own. Upon the matter of his legacy, therefore, Alisaie is wont to go above and beyond the call of duty. In our grandfather's absence, she has made the salvation of Eorzea her personal crusade. 'Twas that which prompted her to brave the perils of the first coil. Yet the fact that she risks her life in this manner is not the greatest of my concerns. No, it is her subsequent fixation upon my grandfather's shade that worries me most. This question to rid the world of Bahamut must not become a quest to save a man long dead. He thinks. My sister must needs have a better reason to fight. A time will come when the fate of the realm rests upon our shoulders, and when it does, we must be strong in our resolve, and certain of the stakes for which we risk all. There is a wide difference between fighting for the good of Eorzea and fighting for the love of a man who died for the good of Eorzea. Alisaie must choose her own path. She cannot rely on grandfather to choose it for her, for he is gone. He nods. I am glad that it is with you with whom she makes this journey. Yeah, she'd be dead otherwise. If Alisaie is to discover a deeper purpose, then where better to find one than at the side of Eorzea's greatest champion? 'Twas there that I found mine, after all. I nod, stoically. But 'tis past time I was gone. Fair fortune in your endeavors, Suicune. Ah, Lieutenant Anael was it? I would appreciate you making no mention of my presence here to my sister. She looks surprised, but gives him a bow. Alright, that's what you want. Then gives me a salute. Anael, Lady Alisaie is due to arrive any moment. I shall abide in confident expectation of your triumphant return. I mean, all I did was go sightseeing. Not like I did anything. The second coil of Bahamut now accessible. Oops, that's not what I want. Okay, here we go. The second coil. Well, we're outside, so I see some floating rocks everywhere. Dalamud's Shadow. I'm not sure if this is the kind of world where floating rocks is really something that I should expect, or if this is considered unusual. So it looked like floating rocks, and then when my friend went to go run over it, suddenly orange crystal was there. Alisaie looks around in shock. How strange. Why could we not see all this before? Yeah, because it just looks like floating rocks. I was like, what the hell? And then now that we're stepped onto it, now we just see orange crystal holding it all up and holding it together. Whereas we couldn't before. I suppose it is only to be expected that corrupted crystals should accompany a disturbance of this magnitude. After all, the fragment likely pierced the ground to the depth of many hundreds of yalms. But it kind of looked like we had maybe crossed through an invisible barrier? Almost like everything around it was a hologram, then we passed through the barrier, and now we're seeing what it actually looks like. It's kind of what it looked like when you walked over there. There's like a shift in reality. The swirling ether leaking from the wound must warp the very air, creating a veil that hides these formations from view. Or that, maybe. Well, it is not as if we expected this to be a straightforward task. Let's tread carefully, shall we, Suicune? Yeah, don't fall to your death. 'Tis imperative that we win through to the depth of this structure and disable the mechanism that powers Bahamut's regeneration. Of course, if we should chance to encounter my grandfather, upon the way, I shall not let him go again, not while there is hope that he may yet be saved. But mayhap we should put such thoughts from our minds until after we have successfully gained entrance to the place. That opening up ahead appears a suitable point of ingress. Alright. Let's see how else this place might shift. If at all. Maybe now we just see what it looks like. I reach out my hand and the door slides open. We're in like a hexagonal. Damn, I can talk. Alisaie, that armor. No, it couldn't be. Be on your guard, Suicune. Though it defies all reason that he should live, I know of only one who wears such armor. He whom the Empire raised as high as Black Wolf himself, the legatus of the 7th Legion. Are you talking about Nero? I speak of the madman who brought the Meteor project to fruition. Cid's dad? We face the White Raven, Nael von Darnus, harbinger of the 7th Umbral era. Question mark. Nael von Darnus? Ah, that was the name of the fool who perished upon the eve of the promised Age of Glory. It should not be uttered within these hallowed halls. The guy in the silver armor gives me a little, practically a curtsy. A little graceful bow there, as his eyes shone or flashed bright red. And the name changed to Nael Deus Darnus. Out of love for his loyal servant, the one true deity named me, Nael Deus Darnus. Alisaie. The one true deity? Bahamut! He speaks of Bahamut! The guy's moving around like a ballerina. He's like gracefully waving his arms around and shit. Oh Lord Bahamut, thy name is as sweet water to parched lips. How my heart swells at thy sacred touch. Alright. He raises his hands up and doors behind him open. This blessed sanctum is the domain of my God and his beloved children. Seek to defile its glory, and you will answer to me. He just falls backwards and disappears. We have no idea where the guy fell to. Dude's a crackpot. He basically did like redo that game of like Fall of Trust. Yeah, he basically did that, except no one was behind him except air. Alisaie, how is this possible? From what Alphinaud has told me, Nael was slain at the eve of the calamity. Wasn't that Sid's dad? Whatever the truth of the matter, we must be on our guard. There can be no reasoning with the worshippers of a primal. Oh yeah, he might be under Bahamut's thrall. Which if he's under Bahamut's thrall, then supposedly there's no way to fix that. The outer coil. Central Dex 3256 Yalms. I would almost say we are straight up in a ship. Like a Magitech ship. And there's those sphere guardians floating around everywhere, wanting to disintegrate us. Alisaie, I am reminded of the passages beneath Castrum Occidens. We must have traveled quite some distance below the surface. She looks around. More of the same tunnels. 12 be good. Surely they cannot continue all the way down from the upper floors. 'Tis difficult to see inside, but I have a terrible feeling those corridors house more of the dreadful guardians you have already faced. It is said that the Elegants excelled in the creation of chemical beasts, and that the Red Moon teemed with 1,000 fantastical monstrosities, all to prevent the enemies of the ancient empire from releasing the Elder Primal. I wonder, the creatures that prowl these halls, could they be the beloved children of which Nael spoke? Oh, maybe. Well, this is yet another mystery to ponder upon our return. Shall we continue onwards? Yeah, we sort of look like we're in a spaceship. And this music that you're hearing right now, I believe is the music that you get if you ride one of the horsies. Which is why I turned it off. That lady singing all high-pitched and shit. That would drive me crazy. The hollow charts, 6329 Yalms. So we basically emerged into... So we were on an elevator, and now it feels like we're just free-falling. We open up to a massive fucking... Like, it looks like there's stars around us. That's how massive this area is. Like, there's clouds and stuff. And we're floating down to a lower platform. Remember, we're underneath the earth, and yet there's clouds. Like, we're like... We see basically what looks like meteor up there. And what should be the sky underneath the earth. Alisaie, that surely cannot be Dalamud. How? Where are we? Nihil Deus Darnus. Oh, it's this guy again. The final resting place of Nihil Van Darnus. This is a grave for the undeserving. And for the crime of trespassing upon my god's sanctuary, this place shall serve as your grave too. He holds his arms straight out. No! That was Alisaie. I didn't know she had a gun. She shot his helmet off. Oh wait, is that a book? Oh, it is a woman. I was wondering if it's a woman with how ballerina they were acting. But apparently it's a woman. Nihil Deus Darnus. I thought that was a guy. I thought it was Sid's dad. Apparently it's a chick. And she's got the pearl or metal ball in the middle of her forehead. Like right where your eyebrows connect. Yeah, she's got a ball right there. Just like Sid and Nero. In the hour of his failure, Nihil Van Darnus felt the currents of ether begin to bear away his essence. But before oblivion could claim the last of him, a divine will reached out, and I was born. Then did the words of my God resound in mine ears. Bring unto mine enemies crushing defeat, that they might know despair without end, and claim thee thus the victory which thou went once denied. She smiles. She's got really long white hair and black lips. And that looks like she's summoning fiery power to her back, like she's got thrusters. Her face is glowing. Like if the veins in her face would glow, is basically what it looks like. Now she's surrounded by a ball of white, fiery light, and she is transformed into some kind of dragon chick. Alisaie. 'Twould seem that little remained of Nihil's essence when Bahamut plucked him from the brink of oblivion. Wait, I thought that was a girl. Shit, I don't know what they are. And the result was this strange simulacrum. Nevertheless, I guess it is a her now. So he was a guy, but now he's a girl because Bahamut made him a girl, I guess. Nevertheless, her aura bespeaks great power. She channels the rage of the Elder Primal himself. I guess hence why she turned into a female Bahamut sort of thing? Nihil Deus Darnus. Lord Bahamut, thy wish is my command. None shall escape thine unquenchable fury. Come, ye dull, unthinking beasts, bare your teeth. They will avail you not in the calamity to come. Well, the bitch be dead. Oh wait, maybe not. Yeah, she's slowly walking behind us. More like stumbling. She's practically able to stand. She's holding her left arm. She looks like she's in a lot of pain. Alisaie. Poor creature. Would that you had never been born. Damn! That's pretty harsh. You had surrendered your physical form and collapsed into ether. But Bahamut denied you death, and imprisoned what little was left of you in an ethereal shell resembling... what, I wonder? Images from your memory, perhaps? Alisaie looks to me and nods. What are you gonna do? But that shell is now broken, and your primal deity seems disinclined to sustain your existence. Nail Deus Darnus. My primal deity? I kneel to no icon. What need have I to beg the favor of such filth? I am Nail von Darnus, legatus of the 7th Legion. What? No. A moment. Oh, their name changed to Nail von Darnus now. My thoughts are clouded, and this body is not mine own. Could it be that you spoke the truth? Was I ensorcelled by the Lesser Moon's ancient prisoner? That will not happen again. Alisaie. You speak as if Bahamut no longer controlled you. But that's impossible. Once a primal ensnares a mind, it cannot be freed. Alisaie closes her eyes and thinks for a moment. Unless Bahamut simply relinquished his claim. What need has he of a broken spirit bound for the ethereal realm? So Bahamut just let him go? Nail von Darnus. Oh, that I should fall prey to the very influence I sought to purge from the land. The irony is galling. But do not assume that all of my actions were chosen for me. It was my will that the meteor project be resurrected. Mine and none other. Yet it seems that my grand designs were destined to fail. Even the ungentle release of death was denied me. Alisaie. Nail, please. You must tell us more of the calamity. I must know the truth of what has befallen the world, and what has become of my grandfather, Archon Louisoix. Nail von Darnus. You are Louisoix's grandchild? Ah, the fates are generous with their cruelty. He smiles, or she smiles, I guess. Continue on if you would have your answers. They await you at the terminus of your path. But know that this path leads only to despair. The light of truth was ever harsh and unforgiving. Alisaie. Why do you say this? Grandfather will be freed once we put a stop to Bahamut's restoration, will he not? What are you not telling us? Nail von Darnus. Steel yourself, child. Only unbending resolve and merciless strength can conquer what lies ahead. The weak can do naught but weep under the pall of their own misery, as did the frail child I once was. A bright light shoots out from, I guess, the ceiling and pierces Nail's chest like a spear. Question mark. Silence, chattering raven. Your wretched wings are broken, and you shall soar no more. They obviously have a quite shocked and pained face on their... look on their face. They reach to the sky. My crimson moon, your brilliance sears mine eyes. Oh, sounds like they may have been re-enthralled. Yeah, they're reaching towards the meteor-looking thing. And they dissolve in a small pillar of light. Of yellow light. Alisaie. I recognize that voice, Suicune, but never would he say such words. Come, let us finish what we came to do. All will be put all right when the final Hulk lies dormant. Grandfather will be himself again. I'm sure of it. Alisaie, you are way off. I'm pretty sure he is just made of ether, just like Nail. We approach some kind of terminal. We see Bahamut's head, essentially. Alisaie. Bahamut regenerates more swiftly than I had anticipated. Let us hope that disabling this coil will serve to slow the process. So where we had quite plainly see Bahamut's, like, it was basically Bahamut's head, a little bit of a neck, and that basically just looks like a heart underneath that. And now there's more of a, like, a rib cage going on. Alisaie thinks for a moment. The display seems different, but the controls appear to mimic the mechanism we found in La Nocia's Hulk. It shouldn't pose a problem. Alisaie. Suicune, forgive me. The moment I beheld Niall's transformation, hope wilted in my heart. I did not believe you could stand against the manifestation of Bahamut's power. Yeah, you have no idea. We spent like the last hour trying to kill that dude. It was not easy. For all your fabled strength and skill, I felt certain that I was going to lose you, just as I lost my grandfather. Even he, a man for whom naught seemed impossible, was humbled before Bahamut's might. And yet, look how far we have come. 'Tis incredible the feats of which we are capable, our boundless potential. 'Twas this capacity for greatness, I believe, that grandfather so dearly wished to protect. With all that has occurred, I have come to understand that much at least. I nod. She reaches out her hand towards the console, and a light streams from her palm into the console. 3 screens disappear, and what kind of looks like a sound wave has appeared. Oh, one of the streaming lights to Bahamut turned off. 'Tis done. Shall we make our way back to the surface and gather our thoughts? We have seen much that will benefit from Ariange's learned perspective. Oh, who's this now? Is this Louisoix? Here's a person. Damn, he reached out his hand and blasted the fuck out of Alisaie. Alisaie gets to her feet. Her eyes widen as she looks upon Louisoix. Alisaie, grandfather, it is you. Then why? Louisoix, abandon this quest, Alisaie. I will not countenance further sabotage of the coils. Alisaie, sabotage? But we must disable the coils if we are to prevent Bahamut's revival. Louisoix, Your defiance seals your fate. He reaches out his hand and I step in front of Alisaie to protect her. Like, you have to go through me, asshole. Alisaie. No! No, you are not who I thought you were. My grandfather would never! Louisoix lowers his hand, and the light in his hand fades away. Louisoix, foolish girl. How could the White Raven allow herself to be bested by such sniveling opponents? Louisoix's eyes glow red. Listen well. We all exist at the pleasure of one divine will. And the word of Lord Bahamut is absolute. Scurry back into your holes, vermin. You have been granted this one reprieve. But should you be so foolish as to crawl into my lord's domain again, I will crush the life from you myself. And with that, he disappears. Alisaie just stunned. Alisaie. The light in grandfather's eyes. He has suffered the same fate as Nael. She hangs her head as tears stream down her face. My grandsire is no more. That was naught but a phantom that profanes his noble memory. This mockery must be expunged. I will not rest until I free grandfather's soul from Bahamut's tyranny. Do you hear me, Bahamut? Your time is at an end. Eorzea and my family will be avenged. Alisaie's resolve. Alisaie. Truly, it is wonderful to escape that stifling air and return to northern Thanalon again, it would appear. I must thank you, Suicune. Were it not for your bravery, I strongly doubt that I would be standing here now. Ah, but you need not tarry on my account. The danger has passed. Pray go on ahead and appraise Urianger of all that has occurred. I will join you anon. My thoughts are yet unruly, and I would rest here a while. I'm not sure if you should really rest around all of this crystal. That's a lot of crystal. Urianger, I'm back. The triumphant hero doth return. Thine eyes speak of the dread task's completion. The second coil now lieth dormant. Yet I sense the tidings thou bearest are not altogether glad. Pray tell me, what ill hath cast the shadow which falleth now across thy brow? Urianger, who the fuck speaks like this? Seriously. I think you're the only person I've seen this entire game who speaks this way. See, what happened was... Urianger. An old foe and an old friend. So 'twas but the ethereal shadow of Master Louisoix that Lady Alisaie beheld, an unnatural conjuration in thrall to the Elder Primal. That the fiend should deign to choose him of all men, even in full knowledge of the shade's true nature, I would be hard-pressed to weather such a confrontation. Yet, what agonies must the young mistress have endured? Such torment did she never deserve. Mayhap 'twere better if the Lady Alisaie did absent herself from future forays unto the coils. Question mark. I have come too far to surrender to grief, Ariange. We know this is Alisaie. And there she is. Ariange, my lady. Alisaie. I am resolved to defeat these fiends, and naught shall sway me from my path. Now, let us peer more deeply into the well of our discoveries. Ariange. As you wish, my lady. By your leave, I would speak first of the coil's late guardian, Niall Van Darnus. Van Darnus was a legatus of the Garlean Empire, who strove to bring about Eorzea's final destruction, only to fall even as the sixth sun did set. If thou hast heard tales of the White Raven, then it is he of whom they speak. Aye, he, I say for Niall, was for a certainty no maid. The noble house of Van Darnus, as we discovered all too late, had long safeguarded the wisdom of ancient Alag. 'Twas thus that the legatus came to learn the true nature of Dalamud, and to seek to employ the Red Moon as a weapon against Eorzea. Oh, okay. I've been thinking about this all wrong. So, the reason Meteor is all mechanical and shit is because that was literally its purpose. I mean, it's Magitech. But instead of, I keep thinking it's like an actual meteor. But no, it's an actual, like, kind of like a spaceship, in a way. It's, like they called it a satellite. It's kind of like a satellite. But I keep thinking it's an actual meteor made of rock and stuff. But no, it's basically a giant fucking mega satellite. But the crystal tower and the mechanisms required to command the satellite yet lay hidden beneath the ground, compelling Niall to construct a far less subtle mechanism. And in his first faltering attempts to communicate with Dalamud, he did likely rouse the satellite's slumbering prisoner. Thenceforth did the White Raven's soul belong to Bahamut. Alisaie. He was fortunate indeed to acquire so powerful a thrall by chance. 'Tis little wonder he was so loath to part with him. Why let a simple thing like death deprive one of so useful a pawn? Though we may accuse him of bungling Van Darnus's resurrection, I dare say Bahamut was content to have a handmaiden as a manservant. I mean, yeah, what does Bahamut give a shit? He's like, whatever, you're one of these, I'm gonna flip a coin. I only hope the two thralls we encountered were the extent of his flock. Yet I cannot help but dwell on Niall's words, those beloved children of whom he spoke. I assumed at first that he referred to the moon's beastly guardians, but should Bahamut have enslaved other mortals, we must needs remove this source of worship. Otherwise, our efforts to disable the coils shall be for naught. Ariange. Forgive me, mine indelicacy, my lady. Yeah. Though thou art wise indeed to speak of expunging the primal's thralls. But canst thou truly pursue a course which would cost thee thine own grandsire? Alisaie lowers her head. Alisaie, my heart and mind are as one on this matter. Grandfather's salvation can be won but by a single method, the destruction of Bahamut, and aught that might serve to sustain him. Alisaie looks to me. Suicune, while Urianger and I endeavored to ascertain the existence of any future thralls, I suggest you grant yourself a moment's reprise. Rest assured that I will contact you the moment I have need of your inimitable talents. Whatever. That we have achieved so much I owe to you. I fear, however, that our trials have barely begun. I do like this questline so far. Editing it's gonna be a dick, but otherwise I'm enjoying it. Urianger crosses his arms. Though time had dulled the pain of thy passing, I find that I am wounded afresh. Master Louisoix, what good shall come of this unending search for knowledge and truth? Long have I believed the pursuit of such treasures to be the duty of every true Charlian. Yet when each new revelation serveth only to heap further anguish upon those whom we would fain protect, must we truly reach for more? Well, we see Alphinaud kind of like hiding behind a corner. So, you have found your resolve, dear sister. Will you now find a use for these secrets, for the key that only you and I hold? He looks down thoughtfully. Given our familiar propensity for curiosity, you would do well to remember that keys may serve to seal doors, as well as to unlock them, and Bahamut is a most unwelcome guest, to whom the door should never have been opened. You can handle the truth is the achievement I just got. Yes, I can. I think fragments of truth? Yeah, this looks like it. Urianger. Man is wont to cast light wherever secrets lie hid in darkness. Though that which he illuminateth seldom bringeth him joy. So it is with such unhappy truth as Bahamut's eminence shadow doth conceal. Yet ever onward forgeth Mistress Alisaie, undeterred by the burden of knowledge that weigheth heavy on her heart. 'Tis a perilous path she hath chosen, and a painful one. I prithee, Suicune, remain by her side as her valiant blade, that she might see her quest to its conclusion. Alisaie. Suicune, it is well that you are here. Alisaie approaches us. Urianger. My lady, how might I serve you this day? Alisaie shakes her head. I have met with some difficulty in my mission, Urianger, and I shall be grateful for your counsel. As you know, Bahamut's physical form is regenerating beneath the Cartano Flats, even as we speak. She thanks. If we are to prevent his return, we must needs disable the two remaining internment hulks that sustained him. Every moment our mission is delayed, the realm is pushed closer to the brink of destruction. Alas, though I have determined the location of the fragment of Dalamud leading to the hulks, I have been unable to find a way to enter them. Urianger nods. Urianger. And gaining admittance is but the first step in your perilous undertaking. When last thou descended into Bahamut's subterranean fastness, thou didst discover, didst thou not, that the dread primal has bound the shade of Niall Van Darnus unto his will. And though thou didst consign the fallen legatus to blessed oblivion, thou mayest recall that the piteous wretch was not alone. Doubt not but that Bahamut's other thralls shall seek to hinder thy passage. Alisaie. You can say his name, Ariange. I have not forgotten that my grandfather is waiting for us. And he seems to be a powerful motherfucker. Ariange. My lady, I would remind you, as much as I must oft remind myself, that the man whom we both loved and revered is no more. What remaineth is but a shade which defileth his memory. The vile verbiage that spilleth from his lips must not be heeded, for it cometh not from your grandsire, but from Bahamut himself. Alisaie. You need not worry, Ariange. Come what may, I will not stray from the course. I will not let grandfather's sacrifice be in vain. But mere words will not take us whither we must go. As I said, I have been unable to find a way to enter the fragments of Dalamud. Ariange. My lady, might I suggest that you visit the fragments again in Suicune's company? Full oft have the Warrior of Light set events in motion by virtue of her presence alone. 'Tis possible that she may do so again. I, the while, shall search for answers of mine own. By our efforts combined, full sure am I that the path shall be revealed to us ere long. Alisaie. Were it anyone else, I should question the wisdom of such advice. Yet I cannot deny that what you say about Suicune is true. Very well, I shall do as you suggest. Assuming you have no objections, of course. Good. Now we seek entry to two fragments of Dalamud. One lies at the Burning Wall in eastern Thanalon, and the other at the Singing Shards in Mordona. I left an assistant at each location with instructions to continue searching for a means of ingress. It is not impossible that they could since have found something useful to us. Let us begin by visiting my man at Burning Wall Decks. I think it was. Okay, let's talk to Alisaie's assistant. I say, are you not Mistress Astrama, my lady's most faithful companion? Sinus, madam, at your service. And may I say what an honor it is to meet you. Thank you. Alisaie. How goes the survey, Dex? Dex bows. My lady, it shames me to say that I have found no viable path to the fragment. Though it stands there before our very eyes, the way thither has thus far proven impassable. Did you try flying? When the fragment fell and pierced the land, it caused a prodigious amount of ether to spew forth. 'Twas this that gave rise to the land-twisted lay, which seems destined to thwart our efforts. Even were an opening to exist, I fear that we would struggle to reach it. Alisaie, thanks. Alisaie. We cannot give up. Keep trying. She turns to me. So near and yet so far. Well, it avails us not to stand here and stare at the thing. Let us away to Mordona and try the other fragment. Perhaps Sinus has fared better. I thought this guy was named Sinus. Oh, wait, no, this guy's named Dex. Assistant. Ah! Upon that note, my lady, there is something I must tell you. I am sorry to report that I lost contact with my brother just over a bell ago. As you know, the singing shards are home to many fell creatures, ogres among them. While I do not wish to cause you undue alarm, I fear something unspeakable may have happened to Dex. Wait, I thought you were... Damn it! I thought you were Dex. Damn it. Alisaie. What? Why didn't you? Give me strength. You must hurry to my assistant's aid, Suicune. Right? Whoever that fucker is bows to me. Like, oh, by the way, my brother might be dead. FYI. Jeez. Crying out loud. Let's see if we can go save his ass. Okay, so he's around here somewhere. Somewhere in all of this crystal. Oh, here he is. Kinda hiding. I think he's trying to hide. At least say his assistant. Man, this guy's bold. Haven't seen a lot of bold guys in this game. Thank you, adventurer. For a moment there, I feared that my bones were to be ground up and used to bake bread. Alisaie, I am relieved to see that you are unharmed. It was wrong of me to press such a dangerous task upon you. The guy looks shocked. Alisaie, and scared, apparently. But, my lady, your worries are wasted on me. 'Twas nothing at all, I assure you. Uh-huh. If it pleases you, I shall report my findings. Are you like a butler in training or something? As you can see, though the tip of the fragment is exposed, the rest is encased in rock and crystal, rendering it impossible to enter the structure. We might try excavating the area around the fragment, but it is like to take time, and there is really no telling how deep we may need to dig before we find a suitable point in ingress. So we kind of see like a giant ball of crystal that's fragmented and stuff, and for the longest time I thought this actual like ball of orange crystal was meteor, but I don't think it is. I think it's just a result of the satellite, which is the Magitech stuff, crashing into the ground and basically disrupting ether, and it's just like it's going crazy around it. As such, I am forced to conclude that gaining entry to this fragment is unrealistic. Forgive me, my lady. Alisaie, thanks. Confound it. We are losing precious time. What are we to do now? Oh, I gotta call my little earphone. Urianger. 'Tis I, Urianger. Glad tidings have I for thee and my lady. For a blessing, a way hath been found by which thou mayest enter the remaining fragments of Dalamud. Pray escort Mistress Alisaie to the cerulean processing plant in northern Thanalon. There all shall be made clear. Alright, well, let's go there. Alisaie looks surprised. Urianger has found a way? I guess if anyone was going to, it's going to be him. Then we must go to him at once. I nod, stoically. Urianger. Mine apologies for summoning you thus from afar, my lady, but 'tis here that your journey may finally begin. Alisaie looks around. Alisaie, I did wonder. To my knowledge, there are no fragments in northern Thanalon. Urianger nods. Nor are you mistaken, my lady. Yet a pathway doth exists, one which you yourself have made use of in the past. At the conclusion of your several forays into the binding coil, 'twas at the crystal formation which lieth to the north of this place that you did emerge, was it not? Alisaie. Yes, an ethereal stream bore us back to the surface. That much I had surmised. Are you suggesting that we can use it to return underground? And even if that were possible, would it not simply bear us back to those places which we had already explored? Urianger nods. Urianger. It need not, my lady. Pray allow me to explain. Upon the evidence of your experience, it seemeth plain that two internment hulks may share the self-same etheric egress. From this, we did infer that others may be connected in likewise. Thus did we labor long to verify the existence of further tributaries to the self-same stream, in which task we were at length successful. 'Twas then but a matter of arriving at a solution to the problem of traveling to an unattuned destination. That one might reach what we may call the headwater. We propose to employ a modified etherite, which serveth to amplify such ripples as do originate from said source. By focusing one's essence upon these ripples, it should be possible to make the journey. Yet be fairly warned, my lady, as with all untried modes of ethereal travel, this method entaileth considerable danger. Merely to attempt the voyage could cost you your life. Yeah, we did that shit before. Alisaie. This is a risk I am willing to take. You are brilliant, Urianger. But I am curious. Did you have assistance in forming this plan? I could not help noticing your repeated use of the word we, unless you have taken to using the majestic plural in our absence. Urianger kind of scratches his head. Nay, my lady. As you have correctly surmised, I was not alone in this endeavor. Alisaie. Meaning there are others who are aware of our mission. Urianger shakes his head, and Alisaie ponders that for a moment. Alisaie. Well, it cannot be helped now. Preventing Bahamut's return is what matters. If some secrecy must be sacrificed to achieve our goal, then so be it. I mean, when the fate of the world's at stake, do what you gotta do. We are standing by some orange crystal. A bit up north from where we were. There's one of the small meteorites. Alisaie. So that must be the modified meteorite. But what are the immortal flames doing here? Yeah, there's a couple people like messing with it. Question mark. Those men may be sworn flames of Alda, but they are first and foremost faithful retainers of House Leveleur. Alphinaud. Alisaie. Alphinaud? So it was you who was helping Alisaie? Alphinaud. Who else could it have been, dear sister? Lest you worry, I have no intention of making the details of your adventure public. Like you, I would prefer to avoid causing a panic. But given that which is at stake, namely the survival of the realm, one must be willing to accept help when it is offered. Would you not agree? At the very least, do not be cross with Alisaie. 'Twas at my behest that he kept silent. Alisaie looks at Alisaie. We will speak later. Alisaie. Pray forgive me, my lady, but knowing full well your intent, I judged it meet that Master Alphinaud be informed. Though your grandsire hath become Bahamut's thrall, his noble blood courseth yet through both your veins, and if he must needs be struck down... Alisaie. Do you hear that, Alphinaud? I mean to strike down grandfather, and when I have done so, I shall banish Bahamut to the ether. Nothing you say will sway me from my course. I will protect Eorzea, and I will uphold grandfather's legacy. Alphinaud. Grandfather's legacy? So you still do not know what you yourself desire. Your actions are still driven by borrowed resolve. Alisaie. Borrowed resolve? What does that have to do with anything? Protecting Eorzea was grandfather's goal, and we made it ours. Both of us. That is why we came here, unless you have forgotten. Alphinaud. Gods forbid I should ever forget, Alisaie. But you misunderstand. I do not question your resolve, only whence it came. If it were your own, you would be able to tell me precisely why you desire so fervently to protect Eorzea. Yet you cannot, for it is not your resolve, but grandfather's. You may struggle to see the difference, but borrowed resolve shall never be as strong as that which springs from within. But let us speak of this another time. For now, preventing Bahamut's return is all that matters. To be plain, I have no objection to striking down whatever's left of grandfather. Know, however, that I will be accompanying you this time. As a son of House Leveleur, I would be present for his final moments. Where's your parents? Alisaie nods. Very well, you may join us. On one condition. I make the decision. Alphinaud nods, then turns and walks away. Erkenrad. If it pleases milady, the name's Erkenrad. Ekenrad? Whatever. Yeah, Erkenrad. Our preparations are just about complete. When you're ready to embark on your mission, just give me the word. I'll be waiting for you at the cerulean processing plant. She gives a deep bow. Alisaie. Pay no heed to my brother. You can rely on me. We have come far together, you and I, and together we shall see our journey to its end. funny to see one sibling just like lose her shit and then Alphinaud just all calm the whole time. Like she's yelling and he's just like, yeah, okay, whatever. You can tell he's dealt with that for a long time. Erkenrad. I've been waiting for you, Mistress Astroma. I am pleased to say that the Aetheorite's primed and ready. As you know, the remaining internment hulks are connected to the fragments in eastern Thanalon and Mordana. It's to the former that we will be sending you first. Now you'll be starting inside the hulk, meaning you won't have to cover so much ground. The drawback being that you'll be fighting for your life from the moment you get there. Best be prepared for anything, for Milady's sake, if not your own. And that's about all I can tell you. When your preparations are in order, just give me the word and I'll send you on your way. I may even throw in a prayer for your speedy return, just to be on the safe side. Great, thanks. Central Dex 4560 Yalms. See Alphinaud and Alisaie walking in. Alphinaud, so this is how it looks on the inside. Yeah, that's Magitech for you. It's crazy. Alisaie, this internment hulk still functions. She turns to me. The teleportation was a success. We are come to the right place. There is no telling how much further Bahamut has regenerated since we last beheld him. Let us make haste to the main bridge and deactivate the coil. I nod, stoically. There were receptacles similar to these in the previous Hulk. I think they're talking about like the giant triangle glowy things. Those held chimerical beasts, but only the elegants know of what other abominations may be sleeping within. I mean, if all those are like chrysalises, you know, holding some kind of nasty monster, that's a lot of them. There's a lot of those things. They may well be part of Dalamud's internal defenses. We must stay on our guard at all times. She looks to Alphinaud, who just smiles. She kind of grimaces a little bit. She's not one for smiling. Yeah, apparently those triangle things are pumping out some baddies for us. Yeah, it's a lot of those fucking things. Kind of like the movie Alien, where you go in and there's a whole nest of eggs and such. It's basically like if the eggs were very large and glowing. And by very large, I mean I could probably shove 20 of me in one of these things. Maybe a tight fit, but I could probably shove 20 of me in one of these things. Actually, it might not be that tight of a fit. I don't know. Still pretty sizable though. Yeah, it's almost like we're in a giant egg chamber. Except we're in a giant mechanical alien egg chamber. Catapulted across the map. Just like in Portal 2, they got the springboards. Blink. We basically landed on what kind of looks like a giant target. Oh, what'd we piss off? Some kind of dragon. This one does not have wings, though. My friend goes, I don't know. I don't remember if this guy's trouble. I just go, we'll find out. And it's dead. I look back to see Alphinaud and Alisaie standing on the target platform, where I just killed the boss. Alisaie, by the 12 dragons and so many. I was kind of wondering about that, why there's so many dragons in here. Is that one in a giant glass jar? Yeah. There's like giant glass jars with green liquid in it, and there's a ton of dragons in them. Each one's got its own individual dragon. We were aware that the Alligans possessed the means to control the creatures, but to imprison them thus is barbaric. I would not wish such a fate upon my worst enemy. Yeah, they're just basically in giant glass tubes. 'Tis plain that no love was lost between the Alligans and the dragons, but was it truly necessary to keep so great a number here? Dalima did not want for defenses. This we have experienced firsthand. Such guardians as the Alligans created, both living and unliving, were surely no less capable of repelling intruders than these poor creatures. Alphinaud approaches her. Alphinaud, tell me something, Alisaie. Have you not managed to determine by whose will Bahamut exists? Oh yeah, I guess he's got to exist by somebody's, right? Alisaie, no, I have not. At first I assumed that Bahamut had no people of his own, that the Alligans had perhaps discovered a way to simulate prayer itself. However, Nail's words gave me cause to reconsider, specifically the Shade's mention of Bahamut's beloved children. From that, I inferred that the primal is given form by the will of worshippers whom we have yet to... Her eyes widened in shock. Oh. God, strike me down for a blind fool. She's looking at one of the dragons inside the glass cylinder with the green liquid in like suspended animation. Bahamut's beloved children? Right there before my very eyes. How could I be so stupid? Alphinaud looks kind of shocked there for a second. Who else but the dragons of Eld would summon Bahamut? Who else but they could sustain him? And to think I wondered why the Alligans kept them imprisoned here. Alphinaud, even should the flame of Bahamut's life go out, his faithful children would summon him back. For this reason, the Alligan Empire kept an army of dragons here, in a perpetual state of duress, that they might sustain the primal's existence. Truly, the Alligans' ingenuity knew no bounds, and neither did their cruelty. Alisaie, small wonder that Bahamut was so enraged. Let no one deny that it was man who sowed the seeds of the calamity. Alphinaud, will you now turn your hatred towards our own kind, dear sister? Alisaie, do not patronize me, Alphinaud. I merely acknowledge our guilt. Lest you be in any doubt, I have no intention of allowing Bahamut to lay the world to waste, regardless of the atrocities the Alligans committed against his kind. We have no choice but to eliminate all who worship him, be they his children or his thralls. It seems reasonable to assume that the system responsible for the primal's regeneration is also responsible for sustaining the captive dragons. If we disable it, all should perish. Let us press on. That's like genocide you're talking about in a way. I mean, yeah, it's not like all the dragons will be dead, but yeah, it's a lot of deaths on your hands. Can you handle that? Not something to be taken lightly. See Alisaie and Alphinaud. Alphinaud. Why, this looks like... Alisaie. A model of Dalamud, yes. There's like little bits of magic tech just kind of stuck on poles. Alisaie. For millennia, Bahamut must have gazed at this unchanging view. Trapped inside a prison that was scarcely large enough to contain him, unable to move, denied the release of death. How his hatred for man must have burned. I mean, this place is fucking massive. But, I mean, Bahamut might also be massive. I don't know. I mean, just because this place is massive doesn't mean the cage they put him in is massive. And that hatred found an ideal vessel in Nael Van Darnus. In many ways, Bahamut is to be pitied, not loathed. But knowing the true extent of his fury, I am more convinced than ever of the necessity of our endeavor. Yeah, that sucks. It's one of those things, like, you can understand that Bahamut's basically been tortured for millennia, I guess. Or at least hundreds of years. And, I mean, he's kind of justified in his, being pissed off. Besides, his is not the only soul that cries out for vengeance.
Gods, he is almost whole again.
Holy shit, voice acting. Main Bridge 8872 Yolms.
His size is staggering. I can scarce imagine how Grandfather stood against such a monstrosity.
He's not almost whole. I mean, come on. I mean, you basically have his rib cage and some of his wings, maybe. Maybe an arm. It's not almost whole. Come on.
This cannot be allowed to proceed any further. Let us disable the coil and move on.
Uh-oh.
Grandfather?
He appears in front of the console.
No, that man is dead. I will not dishonor my beloved grandsire's memory by calling you such. You are but his twisted shape, the thrall of a mad primal.
You were foolish to disregard my warning, child. Are you so convinced of your own righteousness?
'Tis the rightness of our path that led us to return. Eorzea will never be safe whilst Bahamut remains to threaten all we hold dear. What of the hero who gave his life in defense of the realm? Do you truly dispute the justice of our cause?
My poor, ignorant grandchildren. Your world is shaped by naught but recent conflict. Listen, and I will speak to you of justice.
The supposed, Louis Law's eyes are glowing red, and he's kind of bathed in red light.
'Twas in the twilight of the third astral era. The southern land of Mericidia suffered invasion at the hands of the Alagon Empire. With no atrocity too depraved for their purpose, the forces of Alec were unstoppable in their advance. Desperate for salvation, the dragons prayed to one of their first brood, to their ancestor Bahamut. Infused by the power of their fervent supplications, Bahamut arose from the abyss of death and took wing as the Mericidians' newborn god. Yet this great miracle would only serve to further the maniacal designs of the dragon's imperial conquerors. The cruel fetters which bind my lord stand testament to the Alagon's boundless greed and hubris. I once summoned the 12 in an attempt to forestall the advent of the 7th Umbral Era. What then did the dragons of Mericidia do that I did not? Wherefore are they accursed and I exalted? 'Tis man's overweening belief in his own primacy that blinds him to the commonness of his condition and the truth of his own tyranny. As long as man is suffered to remain, the dragons shall never be at peace. Only when the plague of people has been expunged shall the children of Lord Bahamut be free. Then shall the world know true justice.
Stop it! Grandfather would never say such things. His belief that people were worth saving never faltered. He had faith in their strength, that they could stand together and push back against the darkness seeking to shake them.
A false hope. 'Tis folly to place one's faith in so flawed a race. Stand together? Huh? They would first need to agree on which direction to face. If history teaches us anything, it is that man cannot find common ground between his own 2 feet. Even you, twins whose veins run with the same blood, struggle to fathom each other's reasoning. You hide your differing agendas behind the convenient banner of Eorzea's salvation. Given your obvious self-interest, can you truly claim no kinship with the Alagon? And though I hope they might bring you closer, 'twould seem that the twin grimoires I bestowed upon you were a wasted gesture.
They look at the books on their waist.
There may well be truth in your judgment of Alisaie and me, but such a one-sided tirade bemoaning the evils of man rings false, coming from the lips of Archon Louisoix. Tell me, do you champion the cause of dragons because Bahamut compels you as his thrall? Or is it because you yourself have transcended the limits of man's existence?
Ah, so the possibility did not escape your notice. What I prayed for, and what I have become. These are the keys that unlock the truth behind Eorzea's rebirth.
They look
If
shocking.
you would have them, then you must needs take them by force. Come, rend this divine form asunder and claim your answers.
Oh, that's not good. They're not really wanting to do this. Maybe so I just like turned into a bird. Pretty bird. It's kind of like a phoenixy bird, except he's blue instead of, you know, red. Lots of glowy blue.
But I thought... No. He has become a primal?
Wait, Louisoix's a primal himself?
It is difficult, I know, but you must accept it. That entity is no phantom or imposter. It is our beloved grandsire.
So it actually is Louisoix. Yeah, they say looks down and smiles a little.
Please, for his sake and for ours, you must defeat our grandfather.
She says to me. So Louisoix, the actual Louisoix, became so powerful that he actually became a primal. That was how powerful he became. And suddenly I'm in the boss fight, so I hope that was the end of the cutscene, because I didn't get to push forward. I died instantly. I don't know why, but I did. My friend's still alive though, so he's fighting the Phoenix. It's changed color now to orange. Glowing orange instead of blue. Hey, my friend won. Phoenix changes from orange to blue and dissipates upon hitting the ground. Usually I'm happy at the end of the duties, but my character actually looks sad. She's usually like, yay! But she just stared at the ground, sadly, at the end of that one. Alright, let's see.
Grandfather is truly gone this time. But better it end this way than the alternative.
I am yet here, Alisaie. My dear, sweet granddaughter.
A ball of blue light appeared out of nowhere and floated down to the ground, and Louis was back.
Grandfather?
They look surprised.
I must thank you, warrior of light. Without your valor, I might never have broken free of Bahamut's control. These last few moments are mine, to live as the man I once was.
Well, his eyes are not glowing red anymore, if nothing else.
This is all that I wanted. Yet, now that it is happening, I find myself struggling to believe it. Is it really you?
He nods. And smiles. She smiles back. Alphinaud steps forward.
Grandfather, pray forgive me my insolence. It was not my intent to demean you.
Forgive you? I am proud of you, child. You were wise enough to deduce the manner of creature I had become. Alphinaud, Alisaie, if any here should beg forgiveness, it is I.
Grandfather, I must ask, will you not tell us what befell during the calamity?
Yes, of course. You have come far to hear the truth.
He turns to look at the crystal behind him and Bahamut.
Let us then begin the tale at the Battle of Carteneau, where clashed the forces of the Garlean Empire and the Eorzean Alliance. 'Twas there in the sky above the surging armies that the elder primal Bahamut broke free of the Red Moon Dalamut. In an effort to contain this avatar of destruction, I called upon the 12 to aid me in the creation of a prison of ether. But Bahamut would not be caged by such feeble bars. Too vast was his might, too fierce his rage. Little choice remained to me. I used the last of my strength to entrust our hope unto the future, and prepared to meet my end.
He closed his eyes slowly. Flashback. We're back at the battle. There's a bright blue light and crystals everywhere. This is right after Bahamut shattered his prison. Alisaie looks at his hand and closes it. No, meteor's still falling to the ground. Oh, he launched himself at meteor. He basically created an arcane symbol, but Bahamut pushed through it and pushed it to the ground. But he's still fighting though. He's still pushing up. And eventually, it seems like he shattered Meteor with his strength. Like, he went Super Saiyan. And he broke Meteor, which then blasted straight through Bahamut. Yeah, he basically made himself a bright blue bullet. And his body dissolved. Bahamut's body explodes in just a bright blue light, and Meteor then explodes in a bright, flaming orange light, which then rains upon the land. You see, basically, but basically kind of looks like snowflakes, except it's bits of blue light, which is, I guess, bits of Alisaie and Bahamut. Falling slowly to the land.
As you have no doubt surmised, I did not perish. When the cage built from the essences of the 12 was destroyed, the sky was filled with a colossal cloud of ether. This drifting energy responded to the prayers of those fighting below, and to my own desperate wish that the dying realm be saved by infusing me with the power of a primal. I became the immortal phoenix, ancient symbol of rebirth. Rising into the sky, I struck Bahamut with all my newfound strength. The blow shattered his earthly form, and a shower of ether rained down upon the land. Thus began the rejuvenation of Eorzea. Believing the deed done, I relinquished my hold on that staggering energy, desirous that it should be returned to the realm without delay. But I had not reckoned on Bahamut's tenacious will. Even as he teetered upon the cusp of oblivion, the dragon reached out to claim me. Alas, within my fast fading form, enough remained of the Phoenix's energy to offer Bahamut a hold, and he dragged me along in his wake.
And thus began your existence as the Elder Primal's thrall.
I cannot help but wonder at his will to survive. Though he was all but obliterated, Bahamut found a way to seize the power you surrendered. That would explain why part of his physical form survived to be entombed underground.
It would also explain why Eorzea was so terribly warped. Even as the land sought to restore itself, the returning flow of ether was cut off.
Ah, very good. When his grip on existence was once again secured, Bahamut did not cease his feast until he had consumed every last mote of ether that yet floated in the air.
And still he was not fully restored.
You must remember that by this time, much of the freed ether had already returned to the land, That which remained was not sufficient to reconstruct so massive a form in its entirety. But there did not need to be. Not for a being sustained by the marvels of Allagan technology. As long as some piece of Bahamut persists, the coils will seek it out and continue their regenerative task. The fragments of Dalamud appear motionless from the surface, but deep beneath the ground they had been searching, tunneling through rock and soil towards their escaped prisoner. And, as you have observed for yourselves, they found his heart. Warrior of Light, heed me. You must put a stop to Bahamut's regeneration. Whether it be for man or for dragonkind. The question of justice is irrelevant. The Elder Primal will leave naught but a smoldering wasteland for both his children and ours. I beg you to defend Eorzea and guide its people to the future they yet struggle to find.
I nod, stoically. He smiles. He reaches out his hand and a bright glowing light emits from it. One of the tethers turns off. And a portal opens up so I can leave.
This portal will take you to the final internment hulk. 'Tis time for the tale of Bahamut and his part in the calamity to come to an end.
They look surprised.
Alphinaud, Alisaie, pray, come closer.
Alisaie's kind of looking down at the floor. She's pretty sad. They walk forward.
Your hopes and dreams must no longer be an extension of mine. You must needs find your own reason to fight for this realm, your own meaning in this sea of chaos. Will you do that for me?
Of course, Grandfather. I have already made it my mission to see this newborn Eorzea survive and flourish.
He nods, then looks to Alisaie.
Alisaie, while I was yet enthralled to Bahamut, you spoke of my faith in man's strength. Know that your words reached me, imprisoned though my soul still was.
Alisaie's still looking at the ground.
So forceful was your conviction. I wonder if that belief has not become your own. Perhaps, after all your anger and sorrow was spent, you found something greater within you.
He smiles and looks at me.
See this fight to its culmination. 'Tis also your strength in which I have faith.
A tear falls from Alisaie's
Thank you
face.
for everything. Pray, take your rest, Grandfather. You deserve it.
He smiles and he looks down at them and kneels. He touches their shoulders.
There are records of an art that allowed one to summon the power of a primal from the essence of its demise. And though I am no true primal, all that I have left, I give to you. Alphinaud, Alisaie, my darling grandchildren. May light's blessings ever keep and protect you.
A giant pillar of blue light explodes from his body. And he fades away. Alisaie holds out her hands, as if to catch them. She nods confidently.
Come, warrior of light. Our task remains undone.
I nod. See Bahamut's head. He's like glaring at the camera. Question mark. The burning heart.
"'Twas a long and arduous road, but at last we reach its end. Farewell, Bahamut. I banish you back to the ether."
Bahamut's eyes suddenly glow bright red.
He is not yet whole. I did not think him capable.
Basically, an explosion kind of erupted in front of his chest.
Alisaie! Alisaie!
Alphinaud and Alisaie got burned to shit.
I had thought it finally over.
I was preparing another blast for us.
I will not survive another blast.
She looks away, then looks to me.
No. Is this how I honor my promise to grandfather?
You must needs find your own reason to fight for this realm. Your own meaning in this sea of chaos. Will you do that for me?
I will, grandfather. In fact, I believe I already have.
She slowly gets to her feet.
That reason has been with me all along, guiding me. Eorzea's blade of light, shearing through endless shrouds of darkness.
She's using her left hand to hold her right arm.
I have been shown the miraculous feats of which we are all capable, of which I am capable. Bahamut, you have wreaked enough havoc. I will not let your wrathful fires consume all that we know and love.
She takes out her book.
How long I have waited to hear you say that. You have found your resolve at last.
Okay, now that they've stopped speaking, she had thrust her hand out, and Louisoir's spirit appeared next to her, and they created a giant sphere of shield, kind of similar to what Louisoir had done at the Battle of at the Cardinal Flats, and then he heard like the phoenix sound from his primal form. She looks to him.
Let me join my strength to yours.
He also grabs his book.
In this place, in this moment, our purpose has become one.
They hold their books forward. The book glows. The books float up into the air by themselves. They swirl around each other. Tendrils of lightning pull the two books together to make one book. They look to each other and smile. In unison,
For the future of Eorzea!
they thrust their hand out forward in unison when they did that.
This last task is yours, Warrior of Light. You must destroy Bahamut's crystal core.
They both in unison again raise their hands to the sky, and light just pours from this book. I mean, it's blinding me. I have to look away from it, it's so bright. And I suddenly shoot into the sky, straight at Bahamut. I think that's what's going on. Yeah, we shot ourselves at Bahamut's heart. Like little bullets. So, I think we're actually in his heart now. Look upwards and there's a weird light. It's got a tendril up there too. He must have parasites in his heart. Oh, it's like a mini Bahamut. Yeah, there's a mini Bahamut inside his own heart. That's weird. He's pissed. My friend goes, so that's a Bahamut. We're gonna learn. I'm like, I'm scared. Because I am both tired and forgetting what happens. He goes, fair. Ready? Yup. Let's do it. So neither of us seem to know any of the mechanics, so we'll figure it out as we go, I guess. Oh, I'm dead. I got pushed out of bounds. Which basically, if you get pushed out of bounds, is insta-kill.
walked before, to lead those who walk after.
Enjoy that music while my friend is still fighting.
Shining is the land's light of justice. Ever flows the land's well of purpose. Walk free, walk free.
The sin of
Walk free.
Mericidia.
Believe the lamb's alive, so believe. To all of my children, in whom life flows abundant.
I was seeing one of those dragons that had the collar around its neck that like enslaved it.
To whom death hath passed his judgment, the soul yearns for honor, and the flesh the hereafter. Look to those who walked before, to lead those who walk after.
One of them with the different one that's got a collar is like the blood of Mericidia.
Shining is
The gust of Mericidia.
light of justice.
One was the storm. Got the sin of Mericidia again.
Ever flows the land's well of purpose. Walk free, walk free, walk free. Believe
The pain of Mericidia.
the lamb's alive, so believe. To all of my children, in whom life flows abundant. All of my children, to
Oh, Bahamut just came back and is shooting light everywhere. 10 seconds to Terra Flare. Awesome. He's building power, so he's gonna make a giant fucking explosion. That's not good. And there it goes. Atomic explosion. Oh, Bahamut went Super Saiyan. He's shooting down huge columns of light, just smashing my friend's bags. But how much at 7%? Let's see. Yay, we won!
now
Achievement unlocked. Out of a bind. And Bahamut's dead. Or at least the boss. We'll see what happens in the cutscene. Again, my character is not happy that we won. Oh, no I am. This time I am. The final call at Bahamut complete.
You did it!
Yep, all me. We look at Bahamut. There's a coil still shooting at him. Shooting energy at him.
But one task remains.
Alisaie approaches the terminal.
With this last coil disabled, there shall be naught left to bind Bahamut to this world. His beloved children will finally know peace.
She reaches out her hand. And the console dissolves. Last light shooting at Bahamut dissipates. And everything starts to turn black. Bahamut glows bright blue, though. Orange. And he seems to explode, leaving his heart. His heart glows and dissolves into little fragments. Also explodes. Lots of purple little fragments of Bahamut everywhere. Falling down over them, kind of like the snow from the previous cutscene. Little fragments of...
'Tis done. He is truly gone. You knew, didn't you? You knew what Grandfather had become.
He shakes his head.
I was not certain, but from all I had gleaned, it seemed a distinct possibility. The scene people describe of the Battle of Carteneau was one of unimaginable devastation, and 'tis through the combined prayers of the desperate and an abundant source of ether that primals are born. I merely put two and two together.
And you consider that a sufficient explanation? Well, however you stumbled across your theory, 'twas this revelation that made you wary of my attachment to Grandfather. You feared that in my obsession I would fall under his primal sway. Is that why you decided to join us? To pull me back should I show signs of wavering?
Pray forgive me, sister. I wished only to protect you. Yet I see now that I needn't have doubted the strength of your conviction.
He looks down guiltily.
May I ask you a question? What do you now intend to do with the truth you have uncovered?
She looks skyward.
Which particular truth was that, brother? The fact that desperate prayer gave rise to the primal phoenix? That this new god was responsible for setting Eorzea on the path to rebirth? Should such a tale become common knowledge, people would soon offer up their prayers in earnest. They would beseech Phoenix to complete the healing that was begun.
Yet as you and I know all too well, the very act of calling forth this savior would do more harm to the land than good. We cannot encourage such worship for this very reason. Were Grandfather forced to return as an ether-draining primal, it would undo all that he had worked to protect. Your abiding love for him was the key that unlocked the truth of the calamity. But keys may also serve to seal doors that were best left unopened. Let your love now guide your actions, and lock away deep inside the fate of both Grandfather and Bahamut.
Alphinaud looks up. He reaches his hand towards the falling bits of ether and catches one in his fist. He opens his hand to look at it.
Fear not, Alphinaud. I understand what must be done.
Oh, that was Alisaie who did that. I thought it was Alphinaud.
The realm need not know the truth for it to be saved. That the Elder Primal is banished, to return no more. That is enough.
Alphinaud smiles.
Let us make our way back to the surface. Poor Oriange must be beside himself with worry.
I nod. So you see just bits of ether, formerly Bahamut, just kind of, like I said, snow down. Alisaie's path. And here we are again. After that descent into darkness, the desolation of northern Thanalon seems paradisal. As promised, I shan't reveal the truth of the calamity to a single soul. However, the nations of Eorzea will require certain assurances that the threat of a new primal is gone. Kept in the dark over long, 'tis only a matter of time before they seek answers of their own accord. Let us recommend that the fragments of Dalamud are sealed off, that the truth may rest undisturbed. But first we may go and report to Oriange. It would not do to keep him in suspense. I dare say we shall find him pacing up and down at the cerulean processing plant. See what Alphinaud has to say. In spite of your presence, I must confess that there were moments when I feared the worst. But in the end, you plucked us from the flames and bore us safe unto victory. Yep, my friend did. Just as you always have. As for Alisaie, I have never been more proud to call her my sister. Oriange, I'm back. Oriange. Ah, the warrior of light returneth undimmed from the depths of darkness. By thy triumphant bearing, I take it thou hast succeeded in thy mission. And yet thou art alone. Mistake me not, dear friend. Full glad I am that of thy safe return. But where, pray, are Master Alphinaud and Mistress Alisaie? They're behind you. For a dramatic entrance, of course. Because they're bags. Alphinaud. Here, my friend. Forgive us our lateness. We took the scenic route. Just so we could make you worry. Alisaie. Bahamut is no more. The realm is safe. Oriange. By the heavens! Look at you! I mean, they were. He runs over to them in a panic. I mean, they are cinched to shit because they were, exploded. So yeah, they're kind of burnt. What horrors are your young eyes must have seen? Oh, what horrors your young eyes must have seen? What suffering your young bodies must have borne? Pray tell me, where are you hurt? Your wounds must needs be cleansed and dressed all at once. I shall make for you a poultice which draweth out. The two of them look at each other and they just start busting up laughing. Alisaie, be at ease, my friend. We are hale and whole, I assure you. We took a few tumbles, but the worst of our hurts are healed. I believe we have Grandfather to thank for that. Oriange, Master Louisois? Then you met with him once more? But wherefore should Bahamut's thralls seek to ease your suffering? Alisaie, I promise to reveal all to you in due course, dear friend. But first, there is a matter which requires our immediate attention. Now that Bahamut is defeated, we deem it best to bar entry to all of the fragments of Dalamud. To this end, we will convince the nation's leaders that the danger is past, and invite their cooperation in ensuring that the fragments are never again disturbed. Come, let us depart and seek an audience with them forthwith. Alphinaud, a moment, sister. You need not burden yourself with this task. Ariage and I will more than suffice. Might you not take this opportunity to rest? The gods know you have earned it. Alisaie looks surprised and thoughtful. Alisaie, but I am fine, brother. Besides, you have been through as much as I have. Oh, I see now. You would play your game of diplomacy and wish me out of the way. Alphinaud, no, naught could be further from the truth, Alisaie. She crosses her arms, like, uh-huh. Ariage smiles. Ariage, my lady, 'tis mine earnest belief that your brother hath your best interest at heart. You have more than done your part, and his desireth but to relieve you of a burden he might easily bear alone. Alphinaud, I have some experience treating with dignitaries, you must allow, and as you never fail to remind me of my fondness for diplomacy, I feel it only right that I remind you of your aversion to it. She kind of turns her nose up in the air for a moment, like, Alphinaud, then it is settled. Ariage, pray make arrangements for the chocobo carriage. The ride should give us ample time to prepare our story. You want to take a shower first, dude. You've still got bits of a Bahamut in your hair. Ariage nods at Alisaie and takes his leave. Alisaie calls to him, Alphinaud! He stopped and turned back to look at her. Alisaie, though our paths are different, we share the same goal, do we not? He smiles. Alphinaud, but of course, dear sister, that which we have just achieved together stands as testament to that fact. Whatever path we choose to take, our hearts shall ever lead us to the same end. Of that I am certain. Alisaie smiles and nods. Alisaie, thank you. They turn to leave. Alisaie looks at me. There is a place that I would visit. Might I ask you to accompany me? I nod. Her hand brushes the book on her waist. But first, I do believe a change of garments is in order. It won't take a moment. Camera fades to black, and now we're teleported to somewhere? Somewhere in the wilderness? Kind of deserty looking. Pretty barren. Yeah, Alisaie's changed clothes now. She's in, like, typical, I don't know, like, anthropologist type clothing, really. Like, meant to be in the dirt and stuff. Nothing fancy. Oh, they're looking at one of the orange crystals, which to me look like it has gone dim. Alisaie, the landscape is the same, of course. There is no reason that it would be otherwise. Though it would be poetic for the fragments to magically disappear, I am well aware that they shall remain long after you and I are gone. Something catches her attention. Someone ran by. And there's another person. So a kid ran by, and a woman joins him. I think they're at a gravesite, maybe? I don't know. Alisaie. The world may change irrevocably, but life shall ever go on. Let us take a closer look, shall we? You gonna go spy on those strangers? Alright, apparently I agree to that. Let's go spy on some people. I have no doubts that Alphinaud will do an admirable job concealing the truth of the calamity. Now they were just taking a walk on the landscape. And such truths as we revealed in those dark depths will never see the light of day. I myself agreed that it must be so. She turns to me. I stop and frown as I look at her. Alisaie. But the thought that the people of Eorzea shall forever remain ignorant of their savior, of your deeds, the injustice of it is almost too much for me to bear. I smile and shake my head. Alisaie looks surprised, and then smiles. How typical of you, Suicune. Ever the heroine. Even so, I cannot deny that I feel better for your reassurance. She looks down. She was inclining her head. But I want you to know that I will never forget. You are the one who freed Grandfather's soul and saved Eorzea from Bahamut's wrath. And though these great deeds will never be remembered in song, their consequences will be felt forevermore by every soul who calls this realm home. I nod. Alisaie nods in return. They get a nice little stroll by a waterfall. And some giant spider webs that probably house a boss over there. Yes, this spot will do. It was one of the spots where I think we had met one of her assistants that couldn't find us a way into the fragment. So I guess we're gonna go sit here and stare at that then. I still feel like it's not glowing as much as it used to, unless it's just my imagination. Alisaie picked a flower. For Grandfather, Nael, and the dragons of Mercedia, for all those who were taken by the calamity. She holds the flower in her hands. And gently places it on the ground. It blows away. She smiles as she watches it go. At long last, our struggle with Bahamut is over. She closes her eyes. The realm, given new life through the prayers and sacrifices of countless souls, may look to a brighter tomorrow. When the dust of our adventure has settled, I shall embark on a journey. I mean to follow my own reason to fight for Eorzea. And when I do, I will fight with all my being. I nod. Alisaie smiles. You have done so much for me, Suicune. One day I hope to be able to repay you in kind. I have no doubt that you will continue to help those in need, and grow ever stronger in so doing. I shall endeavor to do the same, and if the 12 are kind, I hope one day to become Eorzea's sword in the darkness, as you are. Come what may, you may rest assured that I will not be outdone by Alphinaud. Sounds like you two guys are more powerful together. I give her a thumbs up. And Alisaie laughs. When next we meet, I promise that I will not disappoint you. I mean, what you did before with Alphinaud was pretty impressive. Till that day, fare you well, my friend, and thank you from the bottom of my heart. She turns and leaves. Yeah, I still feel like the crystal ether directly around one of the fragments sticking out is a lot duller than it was a second ago. But again, that could just be my imagination. Uncoiled. Achievement unlocked.